nutritional habits, and the med students are probably going to think I'm kind of a nerd for using that because I kind of medicalized the term. But paranutritional habits are habits that aren't necessarily nutrition, what to eat, but it's how to keep yourself in a healthy eating habit. Because we sit here and preach at you about what to eat, but if you're not able to exactly execute that plan, because of all the difficulties out in society, then you're not going to be able to do it. And this is part of how to continue eating healthy despite all the obstacles that I talked about earlier. So you're going to have to bear with me on this first exercise that we're going to go through. So, which black dot is bigger? Just, you can say out loud or think in your head. Okay, you guys see it. So the dots are the same size. All right, how about now? So now they look like they're the same size, but actually the one on the left is 20% bigger. And so why did I just show you guys that?
The eyes can deceive.
Exactly. Your eyes can deceive you, and you can use that to your advantage. And here's a study where they use that capacity for your eyes to trick your mind and then trick your stomach. And they use that to help people take in less calories. So what they did in this study, and I'll talk about it briefly, is they took two groups. In one group, they gave them small spoons and small bowls. In another group, they gave them big spoons and big bowls. They both were taken to the same all-you-can-eat buffet with ice cream, and they said, eat until you're full. And what they found, it might not surprise you, is that the people with the smaller bowls actually ate less. And what I thought was interesting, even nutrition experts were fooled into eating more if they had bigger bowls. So I think it's something that you can take into your kitchen, and you can try to trick your mind and try to use smaller bowls, smaller plates, smaller spoons, smaller forks to help you eat less. And maybe you were raised like I was raised, where at the end of dinner, if your plate wasn't scraped completely done, then you had to hear about how your dad was lucky if you got one meal a week or things like that. So I think we're kind of trained to finish our plate, and maybe if we have smaller plates, we can help ourselves take in less calories. So it's something to try. So like I said, use smaller plates, and if you don't have some small plates in your house, it might be a worthwhile investment. And like many of my recommendations, there's something to try, and maybe it's not going to work for everybody, but every little bit helps, so please try it out. So here's another thing that you can try, and it's more of a habit, and that's to eat slower. So there was another study where they compared two groups of women. In one group, they were quote-unquote fast-eating women, in one group it was slow-eating women. And so women who ate slower, they consumed less calories, and they also felt that the food tasted better, and they had more of a full feeling at the end of the meal. So there's a possible mechanism in this, and it has to do with the fact that your brain's constantly playing catch-up with your stomach. So you put food in your mouth, it goes down in your stomach, it sends a message into your brain. But that message is a little bit slow because it's a hormonal signal. And so your stomach might be full, but your brain might not have gotten the message yet. So you're still eating all the while. Your stomach has all the food it needs. And so if you eat slower, it might allow for that mechanism to catch up to itself. I'm sure everyone has been in a situation where you sit down, you're ravished, you eat, and then at the end of it you realize, oh, I ate way too fast. And that's an extreme. But maybe the pace that you're eating at right now might be just a little too fast. And just as a personal anecdote, it's something that my mom does, and she says it helps her. So again, it's not going to work for everybody, but it's something to try. Try eating slower to help you eat less. And it might even help you enjoy your food more too. Because I mean, sometimes you put that food down your throat so fast, your tongue doesn't even have a chance to taste it. So. Here's another one of my tips is the grain bin. So I don't know if anyone is too familiar with this, but there's two places in this city that I know of. One is Whole Foods, and one is the Rouse's in Mid-City. And what it has is a whole bunch of whole grains that you can buy in bulk. And I've been preaching over and over about get your whole grains, whole grains are good for you. And this is the way to do it. And it's not just whole grains, it's actually legumes as well. So you can get lentils and split peas. And this is good quality stuff, and it's the cheapest way to get And so if you haven't experimented by checking out the grain bin, check out that grain bin. And then there's some other whole grains to try. I can't remember if I talked about this earlier, and I'll probably do a newsletter about this because it's kind of beyond the scope right now. I'll get you in just a second. I don't know if anyone's ever had couscous or bulgur, quinoa, millet, pearl barley. Those are some weirder ancient grains that are eaten more in like North Africa and the Middle East. But you can incorporate them into your meals, and I've been pleasantly surprised with some of the experimenting that I've done. And maybe you're not at that stage right now, but it's something to work towards, and I've been happy with it. Another thing is with whole grains, make sure you store them in the fridge because they do go rancid, because there's actually fat in whole grains as well. That causes them to go rancid. Good fat, though. You had a question?
Usually, like I bought couscous in a box, so that's probably not as good as buying.
It's not that it's not as good for you. The reason I'm making this recommendation is because you might get a box of couscous for, let's say, $2.50. But you go to the grain bin and it's $1 a pound. You know what I'm saying? So you can get more for your money. And if you can get more for your money, that's going to keep you stocked up with that healthy food. I'm trying to be considerate of the fact that sometimes healthy food does seem more expensive. Because they'll market it in this fancy box that says, whole grain couscous, it's so good for you. You know, give us $5 for a tiny little box. Whereas here's a bin of the same stuff, maybe in the same store, and it's $1 a pound. And it's the same stuff, it just doesn't have that fancy package.
So when you say store it in the fridge, or whether you buy the box or the whole grain, how long can you keep it?
You can keep it in the fridge for a long time, until you use it.
It's not like milk.
No, not like that at all. It'll just go rancid if left at room temperature. But in the fridge, it should be fine for quite some time, months. Here's another thing, Tupperware, and it's not just Tupperware. It's about having the right tools. And I know you guys are sitting up here. This guy's telling me use Tupperware to improve my nutrition. What is he talking about? I'm about to leave. No, it's about having the right tools in your kitchen so that you can execute your plan. Because one of the things that I want you to try to do is to cook huge meals, save them, so that you have them at a later date, so that when you don't have time, you can go back to that healthy meal that you had cooked on Sunday and use that in place of when you might have gone out to eat, or you might have gone for that TV dinner that you bought. This is a way to make your own TV dinner. You got a package right there. You made some chili last week. It's in the freezer. You can pull it out. Everyone has a healthy meal. And so Tupperware is your friend. And you may know this already, but sauces, stews, chilies, soups, those tend to freeze the best. Rice is not going to freeze very well. Can't freeze a sandwich. Here's another thing that I think can really help you. Spend the money on high quality food and it will help you eat less. I'll take the example of cheese. A lot of the cheese that is marketed in America is just plain crap. And you have to eat a whole bunch of it in order to get any flavor. So think about it as the amount of money you're paying per unit of flavor. So think about if you're making some grits in the morning and you're going to put some cheese on it. You got to put half the container full of cheese just to taste some of that cheese. But if you had bought some high quality cheese and just used a little bit, that little bit goes a long way. And so what that allows you to do is consume less fat, less calories, while still getting the flavor out of it. Some other ways in which high quality pays dividends is, like, for example, if you're going to eat chocolate or desserts, which if you're dieting, I encourage you to eat as little as possible. But what you can do, especially if you have a big sweet tooth like some people have, and they just gotta do something about that craving, is buy some really high quality chocolate and just eat a little square at night, and as opposed to eating a whole Snickers bar. I mean, if you were to compare the prices, maybe that Snickers bar costs 50 cents. You compare it to a chocolate bar. A chocolate bar maybe costs $1.50. But you're going to eat, instead of eating one whole Snickers bar, you're going to eat, maybe a 1/16 of that chocolate bar, and you're going to get the same satisfaction